Welcome to the realm with Elias Benavides. I am your host, Elias, and we are in podcast 4, my friends. I know in podcast 1, 2, and 3, we were in Pasadena, Texas. I was young. It's the 1970s, and you are hearing some stories about me growing up and experiencing the supernatural realm for the first time. Well, my friends, I've decided to do something different. I'm going ahead and jump to 2014. The reason why is because I have a special guest with me. This is actually groundbreaking. This is our first guest ever, and it is one of my great friends, Miss Denise Gomez.
Thank you for having me.
So I hear that you have a story. I already know the story, but I want you to hear the story. What's going on? Tell us. We're at 2014, October. You had just moved. Tell us a little bit about what happened and what was going on and what was the transition in your life?
Yes, well, actually, I moved to Brownsville, Texas in July of 2014. I just got hired to work for the school district that I currently work for. And I had to move quickly because school did start earlier in the year.
Yes.
And so I had to quickly move in, and I was in a new city, no family around. And then I started running into all these crazy things that happened to me in my apartment. So when I first moved in, I did not have any furniture. I was just, it was just me and the walls basically, and my blankets and just my clothes. And I had to be like that for a few weeks until my family was able to help me move my things that I had in storage. My first experience was there when I first moved in. I was just camping out on the floor in my bedroom, and all of a sudden I got an overwhelming feeling, like when, it sounds crazy, but like when somebody's staring at you. And that's what I felt. I felt like somebody was staring at me, or something was staring at me. It just felt like I had an audience and I could not see this audience. And so I was just kind of looking around the room, like it just felt odd. And then I kind of brushed it off. I thought, well, you know what? I'm in a new city. I'm in a new apartment. It's just, like my jitters. I'm about to start my new job. And so I just shook it off. And
when you say brush it off, let me ask you the question. During that time, did you consider yourself a skeptic? Did you believe in the supernatural world? Or did you perhaps, were you blowing this off as like, no, it just jitters. It's just, I'm anxious because I'm in a new city. I'm in a new job.
Well, yes and no, because I did experience a few things with you before.
Correct. Yes.
And, but like when I was by myself and just like it happening, at one point I was kind of questioning my mental state. I was like, okay, like, what's going on with me? Because I was getting a lot of weird things happening at my home. And
so you didn't want to be by yourself anymore. So
no.
So I know you told me, because we've had conversations about this before, and so you invited your friend Ruben to come.
Yes. So right before I invited Ruben to come stay with me, I was waking up with scratches. And I already had my parents already came to, they helped me bring my furniture. And so I was waking up with scratches. I had I guess with sleep paralysis, like I felt like my body was real stiff and I was half asleep, half awake. I don't know, it felt odd.
And had you suffered from sleep paralysis before?
No.
Or this started with the apartment. So the scratches, where were the scratches at? Like where did you?
I had scratches on my abdomen, on my arms. I woke up one time with pen mark all over my arm. I did not have a pen anywhere near me.
A pen?
Pen, like somebody grabbed a pen and went all over my arm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so I woke up and I was like, well, I don't know. That one, I don't know.
Yeah,
weird.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Now let me tell you guys, when a spirit is capable of touching you and actually scratching you, that is a very powerful entity. Now, Denise, of course, didn't know what was going on, didn't know what was happening. But then things started happening to Ruben too, right?
Yes. So Ruben moved in, and while I was at work, he wasn't at work that day. So he stayed at the house, and he was laying down on the sofa, and he called me during the school day, and he says, "Hey, when are you gonna come home?" And I said, well, I should be there before 5 o'clock. And he says, okay. But I could hear like some kind of a worry, like he sounded worried. Mm-hmm. And so when I got home, he was sitting at my patio, and I asked him, I said, "What's wrong?" He says, "No, he didn't want to tell me. He didn't want to scare me." But he finally fessed up before he went inside the apartment, because he was afraid to go back inside. And he said that he was on the sofa, laying down, watching TV, and he heard a whistle in the living room. And so he said he looked up and he was like, okay, maybe he thought it was somebody from outside.
Yeah.
But he said that he felt like something was staring at him, and he said he looked where my sofa's at. He said he looked like that, and he said that in the hallway that there was somebody peeking in the corner, like something was looking at him. And so he said he darted up from the sofa, and he went to go check it out, to see, he thought maybe somebody had broken in.
Right.
And entered through the bedroom window. So he went to go check it out, didn't find anything. That scared him enough that he didn't want to be inside the apartment. And he waited for me until, he waited that entire afternoon until I got home.
Yes, and that is important, guys, because if you notice, they get the jitters and they feel this feeling, you got to listen to your body, because your body is feeling what is happening in the supernatural realm around it. So your body reacts to it. So I think you even told me a story that somebody threw him something, a penny or...
Yes. Okay. So we've had so many experiences together there in the apartment. So Ruben and I were on my couch, and we were watching a movie, and then my recliner, no one was sitting at the recliner, just started rocking by itself. I have a rocking recliner. And it started rocking, and we just both looked like, okay, what in the world? So we stopped it. We put our hand on the recliner. Well, I think I did, and I was like, what the heck? I couldn't explain it. We're like, okay, that was weird. So then days later, around that same time frame, I'm in my bedroom, and Ruben is talking to me at the door frame of my bedroom, and so he's telling me something, and I'm talking to him, and we're just joking around. And all of a sudden, you hear a doink, 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 a little, a noise. And so he gets scared. He's like, what the? And so something threw a penny at him. It's hard to explain it. It sounds crazy.
Yeah.
And he was like, wait, what? And so he looks down. He's like, something threw a penny at me. And so we started laughing. It was funny. But then we started thinking about something threw, something.
Yeah, something's
how,
there. Yeah.
How? How in the world? So...
And so now, all these things are happening. I know I'm talking on the phone with you. You were already describing these situations with me, but you didn't feel the need to call me, or at least to tell me to come over. Yes, you shared the stories with me, and but yet, what was that moment where you felt, you know what, I need to call Elias? I know you call me the ghost magnet. You always tell me, Elias has, and we went to school together. I've known Denise for many, many years. Denise has experienced a lot of supernatural phenomena with me, because we've been, she's like a sister to me. We went to school to Texas A&M Kingsville, Go Hogs, right? Just plug that in. So what was the time where you said, you know what, Elias needs to come, and he needs to come and bless my house?
Well, actually, I think there's 3 major things that happened. And then that's when I thought okay, I need help. Ruben was watching football in the living room, and I was watching it with him at the same time, and he was being super obnoxious, cheering loudly because his team was winning. And I got so sick of it. I was like, I was over it. I was like, okay, he's being obnoxious. So I went to my bedroom, and I was I remember I was folding clothes, and I was just fixing things here and there. And then I laid down, and I was scrolling through my phone. And I saw Ruben crawling in my room.
Well, you thought you saw Ruben.
No. He crawled in my room the first time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So he did it the first time.
Yeah, he crawled in my room the first time, and then I was like, quit it or whatever. So he scared me, and we laughed it off. He ran back to the living room. Well, then a few minutes later, I thought it was, I saw him crawling through my bedroom, and I said, quit it, because he already scared me the first time.
Yeah.
And he goes, huh? And I was like, wait a minute. Ruben was in the living room. So who did I see crawling in my room? And so that scared me. And so then another time, And Ruben didn't believe me. He was like, whatever. But then he was like, ooh, like, you know, like, you know. So anyway, so then there was another time where Ruben went walking, or he went to the store. He went to the store, and I thought I could have sworn I heard the door. I heard noise, like just like shifting of keys or something, and on like from my table, I heard noise in the living room. And I'm always in my bedroom. I was in my bedroom, and I said, "You're back," and then I heard, "Yeah," and I was talking. It sounded like Ruben. It was his voice, and then I get a phone call, and it's Ruben calling me, and he goes, "Hey, I'm at the store. Do you want anything?" And I'm like,
wow.
Yeah. And so I was panicking.
So this spirit that was in your house could mimic Ruben.
Yes.
Wow.
Mimicked his voice. It was his voice that I heard. And
his body, because you said that you saw him, like you thought it was him crawling the second time around, but it wasn't Ruben.
And so that was one of the things. So that's when I was like, okay, I need help. But the third time was when Ruben wasn't there at the apartment. And I had rehearsal, and I was on the phone with our friend Jason. Mm-hmm. And so I'm on the phone. I'm super frustrated because it was a long night at rehearsal. I got home kind of late, and I had all these bags with me. You know, girls, we carry all these tons of bags with us. And I unlocked the door, and I'm trying to juggle my phone in my hand. And I guess I'm looking down. I'm still trying to juggle all my things, and I saw something run from my restroom, and you know how my apartment looks like. So like something ran from the restroom to the kitchen, and I stood there at the door frame, and I panicked, and I was like, Jason, someone's in my room, or someone's in my house. And so Jason's like, well, go check. And I was like, I couldn't move. I was so scared. And I looked next to me, and I had my broom there, and that was going to be my weapon of choice, the broom. So I grabbed the broom, and I said, Jason, stay on the phone with me. So I grabbed the broom, and I look in the kitchen. I'm ready to clobber whoever was in my house with his broom. And nobody was there. I checked the entire apartment. Nobody was there.
So now it was time to call.
And so that's when I decided, like, you know what? My birthday was coming up. And I said, you know what? Let me kill two birds with one stone. Let me celebrate my birthday. And let me call the ghost magnet over here.
Right. Well, she actually called the Ghostbusters, but found out that they were fictional characters.
They were fictional.
No, I'm just kidding. So she decided to call me, and it was two, killing two birds with one stone, as they say. It was her birthday. The day after was going to be her birthday. So a few of us, Jason, Abby, Cindy, all of us, we drove over to Brownsville, and we had dinner at her house, and Ruben made a delicious dinner. But I was there on a mission as well, of course, spending time with my friend Denise, but I was also there to protect her and to protect Ruben as well. And I needed to do something. As you guys may know, a lot of my friends, they joke around, they call me the Lorraine Warren of the Valley. And they were like, we need you. This is not the first time that I've done a blessing at someone's house. And so I'm very familiar with praying for people's homes, especially when they are suffering from some type of people may say either ghost or poltergeist phenomena, or you just name it, a demonic presence. I have gone to numerous houses, buildings, businesses. So this wasn't something that was unfamiliar to me. So I went, we had a great time, and then I knew that I had to get to work. So I asked where the main energy was at, and she said that it was mainly happening in her bedroom. So I went into the bedroom. I asked to be by myself. So I stood there, and I'm going to be honest with you, at first I did not feel anything. I felt cold because she loves to have a cold apartment. It's really cold in there. But other than that, I didn't feel a thing. But then I knew, and I understand sometimes these energies, these spirits, they like to disguise themselves. They're wonderful at hiding. And so I said, you know what? I need to pray. So the first thing I said, Lord, open my supernatural eyes that I may see, open my supernatural ears that I may hear. Whatever that I cannot see in the natural, let me see in the supernatural, Lord. And so once I opened my eyes, I just started scanning the room. And my friends, when I was scanning the room, there I saw it in one of the corners, in the top corner of one of the room. I saw what was a demon monkey-like thing that was on the corner, the top corner of the room, and it was almost like, what are you doing here? I sensed the fear that it had, but then I sensed the energy that it had as well. And it was there, and they're probably going to show you, like a pencil illustration of what I saw. And honestly, that is the closest thing that I can remember of seeing it. It was just like a monkey-like demonic presence. Not the first time that I've seen something like that. So I said, oh, okay, I see you. I know where you're at. So I called my friends. I remember my cousin Cindy walked in, and she felt it, and she walked out. And then I called my friend Jason, and I said, Jason, what do you feel? And I did not give him any type of indication of where I was sensing it. I just said, you tell me, you walk around the room and see if you can sense something on your own. And sure enough, Jason started walking around, and all of a sudden he just turns and he looks at the same corner that I see this thing. And he looks at me, and he says, and he's looking at the corner, and he's saying, it's right there. And guys, I'm going to tell you something. You probably won't even believe me. But when he said that, something moved Jason. I mean, they literally pivoted his body from where he was facing the corner, and they pivoted his body all the way back to where he was facing me. And he was freaking out. He was like, did you just see that? They just moved me.
He's like, I'm not moving.
Yes, he goes, I did not move. Something just moved me. So I said, okay, this energy is a powerful energy. This is a powerful thing. So I said, okay, now step out. And I told all my friends, you know what? Go outside. And this is going to be a 1-to-1 battle. So what I did is immediately I started to pray. And so what I'm going to show you, I told you in the beginning that I had an EVP. So the first one, it's not the EVP, it's the actual prayer. I'm only going to play like a minute of it. And this is the prayer that I was praying. So just give me just a second. And I will play perhaps just like a minute of the prayer. Who's here? In the name of Jesus, I command you to reveal who you are. Say your name. What are you doing here? What is your name? I command you. The power of Christ commands you. By the authority of the Holy Ghost, I command you to give me your name. Okay, so I am starting to pray. And so now what you're going to hear, now I recorded the entire prayer. I rebuked it. I said, in the name of Jesus, you need to leave now. And I felt in the atmosphere that the atmosphere had changed. And I knew that God had done his thing and it was gone. And so I went back over and told Denise, don't worry, whatever was here, it's gone. So we continued celebrating you, and we were there for a little longer, and then I went home. Well, when I went home, I had a chance to finally view and listen to the audio. And in the audio, and I must mention this, guys, that in this audio, when I was actually there in Denise's apartment, there was nothing audible that I heard. I didn't hear anything that was audibly heard, guys. But this is the EVP. What you're about to hear has not been tampered with, has not been messed with in any way. What you're about to hear is a growl of that demon that I saw. And I want you to really listen to it. I'm going to play it like maybe 2 or 3 times. And I want you to listen to this. And now this is the actual growl. This is the EVP. Leave now and do not enter. And I close any porthole. Let me play it again. Leave now and do not enter, and I close any porthole. I'll play it one more time so that you can hear it again. Leave now and do not enter, and I close any porthole. So that, once again, my friends, was not audibly heard. But I knew that it was real. I knew that whatever was there. It was happening. I believed Denise's story. This wasn't a story that Denise, and I know Denise has never really has liked to tamper in the supernatural. So she's always been like, oh, no, I stay away from that. So, yeah. So when she started telling me, look, like this is going on with me, I believed her because that's something that she doesn't like to deal with. So I did not tell Denise. She asked me, hey, did anything come out in the audio? And I told her, no, nothing came out. Nothing's in the audio. And she's like, are you sure? And I said, yes, I'm sure. But I felt compelled to tell her the truth. And I said, I need to tell her. And so later on, I fessed up and I said, look, I need to tell you something. I did capture something in the prayer. There was an EVP and there was this growl. And so, but I honestly feel like for you, Denise, like, when I first met Denise, let me tell you, I mean, anything about the supernatural, she would close her ears and be like, no, I don't want to hear. No, I don't want to hear it. And I constantly would tell her, Denise, know who you are in God. When the enemy finds out that you know who you are and that you know that no weapon formed against you will prosper, he starts to say, oh, wait, this person knows their authority, because you got to know who you are in God, and you got to know the authority that you have in your life. So throughout the years, Denise has found that authority. And I want to tell you, because just because someone goes and prays for your house and you feel like, oh, okay, they're gone, it doesn't mean that they cannot return. Listen to me. We got to remember that we got to keep portals closed, and whatever portal that might have been open that would allow that spirit to come into her house, it was closed. But now Denise has an obligation to make sure that that door does not open again. And so don't think, oh, it may not happen. Well, once it's gone, it's gone. No, you got to take authority over your home. You every night pray over your house. Every night say, Lord, I protect my house. I protect my children. That is the moment that you got as the owner of the house. You need to take ownership of your house, and you need to take authority of your house and tell the enemy like, hey, this is my house. This isn't your house. All right. So guys, thank you so much. I wanted to share this with you. I promise you in the following podcast, we might go back to the 70s, and there's so many other stories that I do want to share. But like I said before, I wanted you to see that in the realm with Elias Benavides, that there's going to be some podcasts that are going to show some real evidence, guys. So Denise, thank you so much for coming. I know it took a lot of courage. I know you work today. I actually work today as well. And I know you're tired. I'm tired. But thank you so much for coming to the realm with Elias Benavides.
Yes, thank you for having me, and thank you for letting me share my story.
Yes, definitely, guys. Well, guys, podcast number 5, which I call The Dangling Man. That's right, The Dangling Man. What did Elias see as a little kid in the 1970s? Guys, it's going to continue with podcast 5, so stay tuned. Thank you so much. And don't forget, let's talk about the supernatural.